Hey, this is Christian from Hertz Tribeca Trade Group with your end of day market recap. So today is Monday, August 8th, very light volume day, very small move today in the major indices. SPYs finished down right about flat for the day. Qs finished down 10 bips, and small caps, Russell 2 small caps, IWM also flat. Same thing with mid caps. Emerging markets outperformed today, up 70 basis points. I like that. I'm still very long emerging markets. Transports finished flat today. Bonds finished slightly up on the day. Gold just about flat. So, you look at these major macro indices, bonds, stocks, mainly flat on the day. There were some market movers, which I'm going to go over quickly, but just want to talk about why this is a particularly good thing. Friday's jobs number, great day for the stock market. So after today, I was expecting maybe a little bit more follow through action than what we got today, which was basically nothing. But some of the areas that were getting a bit overbought, I've got Nasdaq futures up, or you could look at Qs, whichever one you like. And the RSI was getting a little bit overbought here, so we're still in overbought territory. We're just coming in a little bit. So when markets get a little bit overbought, you kind of want to see them burn off some of these overbought levels, and then charge higher. So the fact that we basically did nothing today, I just think that it helps us not get way overbought. A couple other areas that had RSIs over 70, relative strength index over 70. SMH, that actually ended up exactly flat on the day. So that came off of a little bit of overbought territory. Biotech seems to be going one step forward and one step back. It did break out here. I am actually kind of stalking a long biotech trade here, but I want to do it at the right time frame. As you can see, we got overbought here. I don't want to be adding trades once the RSI, especially swing trades, once we're overbought. So I want to see this come in a little bit. These charts, these lines on my charts, this is the 5-period exponential moving average. This is the 20. So I don't like to also be buying areas of the market that are where the yellow line is way above the blue line. I want to see the price action come in a little bit. So maybe it comes back and tests this previous, you could basically draw a trend line, previous resistance, which is now support. So if we do that, I will be looking at a long IBB trade. By the way, the one IBB trade I have on, which is still working quite nicely, is we saw a bearish put spread, a bullish put spread that we saw just about a week go up. That was the September 280, 290 put spread that was sold for about $4. So that trade is still working. All it's got to do is remain above this gap price of 280, 290. So while biotech underperformed today, a lot of that has to do with Bristol Myers. Also, Allergan reported and also went down in the morning, but finished a little bit higher from the lows. So I think that's a good thing. And some of these areas just again, I think really just burning off overbought levels. So that's the good part of that's the positive spin on the major indices not moving, and biotech actually the worst performing sector of the day. You turn over to what performs pretty well today, energy names. And this is the flow that we've been seeing lately. On the dip when crude went down is a lot of flow in the MLP names like EPD, ETE, KMI. So not in your mainstream energy names like Chevron and Exxon, but call buying in a bunch of names, peripheral names, I would say. And a lot of those names I went in on. So the beginning of the day, all is not lost. The beginning of the day was basically used to take profit targets in a lot of those names. So here's our position sheet for the day. These are all the exits that we took. Exit in EM. I'm in some January calls. I'm also in, I believe, some March calls. Some further out calls. ECA, really nice trade. I hit a couple profit targets all the way up to $1.71 from getting in this $1. As I mentioned, EPD, 2 targets hidden EPD, 1 target hidden ETE. A couple names just exited for scratch was Yelp, FE as well. AIG, another nice name that we picked up on Friday. That's 3 profit targets in AIG. Couple small, I didn't really do much of any buying today. Pandora, which we continue to see longer dated call buying, January and December, was worth taking a small shot in something like that. Who knows? I think the chart looks good in Pandora, but also could be a buyout play. And then also Target. We saw calls bought on Friday in Target. Those were October calls. We also saw today Target August calls being purchased. I kind of split the difference and went into September with a small position as they report earnings in about a week for Target. So nice little call buying there. Other notable trades today, in our end of day recap, I always put in all these trades that I'm looking at. Hess has been a good name on unusual option activity. We saw Hess calls being bought in the morning. Also saw APC calls, which I don't have on here, but that was one of my winning trades for day trades today. What else do we see? A little bit of Weight Watchers calls, more GDX puts that went up, a little bit of Marathon call buying, KMI. So fitting that same theme of, Hess and Marathon are a little bit more popular, but, again, KMI calls going up. Also saw a little bit of Wells Fargo calls. So, the banks, after a big day on Friday, what did KRE end up doing today? KRE was up in the morning. They actually finished down a little bit, so they gave back their early gains. Celgene, Celgene, a name that got pretty overbought. I'm actually going to be looking for, if Celgene comes in a little bit more from these overbought levels, almost looks like the IBB chart where we've broken out. So if it comes back and retests a little bit, maybe we can see a move higher. So actually looking at possibly an October call spread in Celgene. Other notable trades, and again, the theme of today was, I would say, very light trades. While I've got about, maybe a little bit over 10 trades here, most of them pretty small in nature. There's a couple names in here that traded under 1,000 contracts. So really, small risk taking today and lighter than normal volumes. Some BABA calls hit a couple times. Interesting Nucor puts. August Nucor puts hit a couple times today, and there was an announcement by U.S. Steel. I think there was a secondary offering in U.S. Steel that hit after the close today. Let's see where this is trading. It closed around 25.83, so down to 25. So it will be interesting to see if Nucor follows that name down a little bit, considering somebody was active in those Nucor puts today. 10,000 ended up trading today, and they bought these, a little bit at a time, pretty much over the day in NUE. Other than that, volume, like I said, volume extremely light. A lot of people kind of complaining about the volume. It is a Monday in the summer. I think it's pretty expected. And the other thing to again, see this all over the place on Twitter, that low volume is not bad in an uptrend. You got to remember how hedge funds buy. Hedge funds buy at a little bit at a time. So little volume here and there. You want you actually, if you're long this market, you don't want to see volume pick up. Volume is going to pick up on a change in trend. So big volume happens on change in trends, and if you're bullish and if you're long, you don't want to see big volume. You want to see little volume and a grind up. So we are doing a webinar on Wednesday just to talk about this market environment, swing trading in this environment, with what kind of trades you should be putting out, what type of distance you need to give yourself for these types of trades. So anyway, that'll be Wednesday night. You can go to tribecatradegroup.com and get more information on that. So thank you for watching today's recap, and we'll look for a little bit more of trend following in tomorrow. One other note, just, Apple, that seemed to be the standout player. Apple continues to march higher. I've remained bullish on this name after earnings, after we're above this trend line on my charts. You could see that we actually have a version point of control coming up here. I'm not sure why that just disappeared, but here we go, right around 110. So I think Apple can continue to rally into their earnings, not earnings, but into their iPhone launch event, which is probably going to be in the beginning of September. But I would watch 109.76. I think that's an area that you want to take profits in. Other than that, I'm not even going to show all the FANG stocks today, because they basically hit the snooze button or were on the beach today. So that's it for today's market recap. Have a great night.